Hello friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Meagan Young. I'm a recreational therapist and I'm also the creator of the blog Grow Through Flow. In today's video, we're going to cover the subject that I get asked most often: should I become a recreational therapist? So I'm going to give you guys my honest opinion about whether or not I think you should go into the field based on my 8-year experience. I'm also going to share a little bit about some of the trends and the growth of the field of recreational therapy, and then some of the educational requirements that you're going to need in case you do decide to go into the field and pursue being a rec therapist. So before we get going, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you like what you see, and let's not wait any longer. Let's get into the good stuff. So one of the first things that you need to know about being a recreational therapist is that there are many different people with many different needs that you would be able to serve. So for instance, you might decide that you really want to work with older adults. Well, you might find yourself in a job placement like an assisted living facility or a long-term care home, or maybe a day program. Maybe you want to work with children, and specifically children with intellectual or developmental disabilities. And so you might have a job like I do right now currently, where I run a summer camp for children with autism. You might decide that you want to, you're really passionate about mental health and that you want to pursue a job in mental health and maybe addictions, because that's a population that you really want to work with. So the field it's expanding, it's always growing and expanding, and depending upon your unique strengths and where your passion lie, then you can find a job that's going to fit your need, as well as being able to serve the types of people in the type of way that you want to be able to do it. The second thing you should know about recreational therapy is that according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the profession is growing at a rate of 7% right now. So from 2018 to 2028, the growth of the field is at 7%, which is slightly above average. And they're attributing the growth due to the aging population. So if you think about it, the cohort boomers that are aging now and are going to require more support, more health care. And I think a cool thing about healthcare is that we are starting to transition into this holistic view of the person and of health, and recreational therapy is such a smart and good fit when you're talking about holistic treatment. So yeah, the field is growing, and if you're thinking about being a rec therapist that works with older adults, well, this is the best time to get in. So if you're seriously considering a job as a recreational therapist, you're going to need to go ahead and get all of the educational requirements in order to become a certified therapeutic recreation specialist, shorthand CTRS. And so the CTRS is kind of the gold standard for recreational therapists. By having this CTRS credential behind your name, you're telling future employers that you have a base or a certain level of knowledge in order to carry out the role as a recreational therapist. And I can speak to my experience that most of, if not all of the jobs that I've applied to and gotten as a rec therapist, they required this CTRS designation. So I highly recommend that this is the educational path that you pursue. So the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to find a college or a university that offers a degree in therapeutic recreation. Right now, to be a rec therapist, what is required is a bachelor's degree. But if you would like to go on and do your master's or do your PhD, there are programs out there where you can do that. Once you finish your 4-year bachelor degree, what you're going to need to do is do a NCTRC placement, internship placement. So under the guidance and supervision of a currently certified CTRS, you're going to do, I believe it is a 14-week, 560-hour internship, but I'll make a little note on the screen in case I'm wrong about that. And so you're going to get real hands-on experience working as a recreational therapist. You're going to follow the rec therapy process. You're going to work with clients one-on-one. You're going to grow. You're going to learn so much. It's going to be great. So after you're done your internship, The last step of the process is to go ahead and take your exam, your NCTRC exam. And this is the format that it's done right now. It is done on a computer, and you're sitting there and you got your headphones on, and it's going to be really anxiety provoking. Ooh, just thinking about it brings up some scary memories, but you're going to study and you're going to rock it, you're going to ace it, and at the end the screen is going to say you pass, and it's going to be, just give you a little high five right now. It's going to be totally worth it. So a few things to note: after you become a CTRS, every year you're going to need to pay NCTRC your maintenance fee in order to be able to keep the credential. And then every 5 years, you're going to need to recertify, which means you're going to have to prove to NCTRC that you have kept up your educational requirements. And you're going to need to get 50 clock hours of learning done, and that can be done in so many different ways. I actually have a course coming out very shortly that I'm super excited about that is actually going to provide CEUs. I know right now it's a really hard time to get CEUs because a lot of conferences have been canceled, but check out the link below and just sign up so that you can be notified when there's more information that comes out about the course. I'm super excited about it. A little caffeine break. Guys, I usually drink copious amounts of coffee, but I'm on green tea today, so there's that. Okay. So the next thing I want to tell you about is the rec therapy process. So I am very sorry if this is going to burst your bubble, but a rec therapist job is not all fun and games. I know, right? We do have a lot of fun on the job, and there's a lot of rewarding experiences that you will go through on a daily basis, but we do follow a process, a therapeutic process, in order to achieve the goals and help our clients in the best way possible. So a fun way to remember this is by remembering the acronym APIDE. And what APIDE stands for is assessment, planning, implementation or intervention, documentation, and then evaluation. And this is the process that we follow whenever we're working with a client, we're working with the people that we're serving at work, and we want to ensure that whatever activities or games or interventions that we're using are actually going to help, they're going to meet their specific needs, and that, you know, they're research based, and that at the end that they did work, and it's something that maybe we want to keep going and keep using. So sometimes this process seems very complicated, and I think as rec therapists we even complicate it for ourselves, but truly it's a very intuitive process, and once you get the hands-on experience of how to do it, it's going to make perfect sense, and you're going to be able to do it with your eyes closed, and it's going to be great. You're going to be a fantastic rec therapist, I can tell. So now I want to get real with you guys and share both the good and the bad parts about being a recreational therapist. So I don't know if I would necessarily classify this as a bad part, but it's just something to keep into consideration because it's something that I have gone through, and I know quite a few of my coworkers and friends who are rec therapists have gone through the same things too. So burnout and compassion fatigue. These terms are kind of used interchangeably, but they actually mean two very different things. So burnout happens when the caseload that you're given, or the demands that are placed on you at work, or maybe it's an unhealthy culture or workplace environment, have really just kind of like taken away your passion and your vigor, and you're feeling exhausted all the time. You might actually be physically ill. The thought of going into work brings up a lot of like stress for you. You might be experiencing burnout, and especially over the last few months with COVID-19 and all these different regulations and rec therapists being necessary healthcare providers, yes, you are necessary, that, you know, the workplace can be exhausting and you can experience burnout. So just knowing that, and if you're new to the field or you're going into the field, just being prepared, because it's going to focus a lot on self-care, a lot about realizing the environment that you're in and what changes need to be made in order to reduce the burnout and get back to your full functioning, healthy life. Because it not only affects your work life, but it also affects your home life. The second term that I had used was compassion fatigue, and compassion fatigue is a little bit more specific. As rec therapists, we are serving individuals when they are going through incredibly difficult seasons of life. They're experiencing traumatic events, great losses, they might be close to death and dying, and that, no matter who you are, that's going to take a toll on your heart. And especially if you're somebody who's extremely empathetic, or maybe you're going through a difficult season yourself in life, you can start to feel, it's almost like vicarious trauma, like you can start to feel the emotions that your clients are feeling, and that can be extremely difficult too. So I've gone through this, especially when I was going through a difficult season of my life, and I sought out professional counseling to help me work through my compassion fatigue. And I also realized that the setting that I was in at the time, just based on my personality and what I wanted to do and what I wanted my work life to look like, I realized that that wasn't for me. And that is okay too. I don't think we say this enough, but not every job or not every population is meant for any person. And I think that we're all given unique skills and strengths, and sometimes you have to learn the hard way that, okay, I thought this was for me and it wasn't for me. But that knowing that if it's not for you, that there is something else out there for you, and there's still people that need your help and need your specific skill strengths. So that was a little bit of a tangent, but yeah, be aware of burnout and compassion fatigue. As rec therapists, we get really good at advocating, and there is advocating for your clients and those that you serve, meaning that you're standing up for them and that you're trying to do the best that you can in order to support them, even if that means going against the general consensus, or that you're going to have a little bit of friction when you bring up these ideas. So there's advocating for those that you're serving. Then the other thing rec therapists get really, really good at is advocating for the profession. So it wouldn't be fair of me not to address this in this video, but I want you to know that because rec therapy is a newer discipline, and because it looks like, from an external point of view, it looks like we're just playing, or we're, the bingo lady. Sometimes the way that other people view us really affect the way that we view ourselves. And as rec therapists, we need to get very comfortable and very confident in knowing that even though others might have these negative, or they're not seeing the full scope of what we're actually doing, that the interventions and the process that you're following is tremendously beneficial, and you're significantly changing people's lives. So we advocate for the profession almost on a daily basis. And you do this either informally, so you're either educating your clients, your patients, your co-workers, maybe your administration on the work that you do. And then we do it more formally, especially during months like TR month, which is in February, where we might do presentations, or we might have meet and greets, or we might do other things in order to really educate others on the profession. So advocating is all about standing up for what you believe in, standing up for what you think is right, and it is a skill that as a rec therapist you will become very, very good at. So now I'm going to share with you guys my favorite parts of the job, because there are a ton, but I gotta say the part of the job that really, brings me the most joy is watching others achieve goals. And these goals might seem very, very little, but they're really, really big and meaningful to that person, to their family, and can significantly change their lives. So for instance, in one of my groups this year, one of my clients set a goal that they would like to make a new friend. They had social anxiety, and it was really hard for them to be in a group setting, and they just wanted a connection with somebody else, and they wanted to make a new friend. And by the end of our program, he came to me and he said that he had met his goal and that he has a new friend. And honestly, even just sitting in that memory and that thought, it made every moment of preparation, every assessment, every documentation, every evaluation, everything that I did worthwhile, because I knew how meaningful it was for that one participant. And that is just one example. Rec therapists do this on a daily basis. So with that being said, I love the profession of rec therapy. I am so glad that, well, it would be 12 years ago now that I found the field. I decided to pursue my education. I did my internship placement. I took the exam. I've kept up the credential. I've been able to work in multiple different provinces and states and at different facilities and with different co-workers. I love being a rec therapist. And if you have any questions about it, please let me know in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to share.